Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Zano, and this is episode 224 of the world famous University Love podcast, also known as Online Marketing Moves. We're coming to you live today. Today is Wednesday, March the 10th, 2021. At the time of this recording, come on in. Folks, today we are going to tell a story. And this podcast is about why you shouldn't be needy. Okay. This podcast is about attracting the customers to you because you're not going to be a needy marketer. Okay. Now I'm going to take you back to the summer of 1992 or 1993. I believe 1993. Anyway, I was young. I was a I was a teenager. I was like 13, 14 at the time. And it was the summertime. So we had off, let's see, about 2 weeks in May, June, July, August. We started normally back in them days, late August, like the last week of August, basically. So we had those 3 months. And so the first part of the summer, I found a young lady that I liked. Okay. Your pal, your guy, he was smitten, as they say. So, of course, I was going to this girl's house. I was going to this young lady's house every day, bopping over there, kind of floating, going over there every day, telling bad jokes, trying to be charming, smiling. Any little thing that I've seen on TV or any little thing that I've just seen with my own eyes, I tried it. Try to be sweet, try to be nice, try to be romantic, as romantic as a 14-year-old can be. You know what I mean? So I tried all that, and then about 4 or 5 weeks into the situation, I got the we need to talk speech. So I sat there. The girl, she was a year older than me, so of course, women are women for the most part, women are more mature than men. So she was definitely way more mature than me. If I was a year younger, so you know. But anyway, she sat me down and then she told me basically this ain't gonna work. We can be friends, but I don't see this going anywhere. Blah 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 blah. I gave me the speech, yada yada yada. So I said okay, and so I walked home. This was a long walk, especially long now since got rejected. I said all this whole time, this whole month, these 5 weeks, I was doing this for nothing. So I felt kind of defeated. But halfway when I got home, I said, you know what? I was kind of PO, and I said, you know what? I'm never seeing her again. I said, the heck with it. I'm never gonna run into her again. I'm never gonna see her again. I'm gonna avoid her at all costs. And of course, I grew up in a town of 3,000 people, so it's kind of hard to avoid anybody. But for the next month, I avoided her. Didn't run into it. Wasn't looking for her. I after about 2 or 3 days, you forget about it. When you're 13, 14, it just happens. So I forgot about it. Forgot about that kind of thing. Went on about my business. Then about a month later, I remember my brother came home and he said, "Hey, she's been looking for you." I said, "Who?" And he said, "You know who's been looking for you?" He said, "She been asking everybody where you at." I said, "Oh, I've been here." I don't got time for that." I said, "She turned me down once." I said, "What I want to do? Go back over there and skin and grin some more and get turned out again like an idiot?" I said, "No thanks." And he said, "Well, I'm just letting you know, and she been looking for you." And I said, I appreciate it, but it don't matter." So a week later, I heard a knock on the door. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, open the door. Boom, there she is. She was a tall drink of water, I must say. So I remember that. I just having to look up, and then I was still at that time. I was 5'5" and probably barely 100 pounds. And I just remember I was like, man, she is tall. But I looked up and I was like, hey, and then she said, I miss you. Where you been? And she gave me a hug, and I was like, here? And she said, why haven't you stopped by and seen me? And I said, I don't know. I said, well, you say you didn't want to. You say you didn't want nothing to do with me. So she said, oh, I didn't say that. I said, well, I don't want to be, I don't really want to be your friend. I don't think. So I kind of like you. So I really was. I was still in the whole awkward kind of phase, but I told her that, and she said, well, I missed you. And then she kissed me, and I was like, wow, what happened? And in my mind, once somebody, in my mind in them days, once somebody said no, I just thought that was it. I said, okay, that's the end. So when she came over and gave me a hug and did all that, I was like, I was very confused. And I'm like, what happened? And so at that time, I was just happy because she kissed me because I was 14, and we all we've all been 14. Okay, so we don't have to go into details about that. But anyway, it didn't last long at all. Probably a week or two. Once school started back up, she was a sophomore or something like that. She wasn't fooling me, so kind of fizzled out quickly. But at that time, I didn't. At that time I didn't see the life lesson. I didn't see the most important thing. At that time, I just thought about the girl kissing me, and I was excited about that. But the lesson that I've learned over the years, especially once I became an adult and started dating, is don't be needy. Kind, the worst mistake you can make is being needy. Just being there for somebody all the time. Like just every time they call, when you first start dating, you just you run and grab the phone like 2 seconds. You're like, hello? And they're like, hey, they just answer the phone like that. And then, it starts a pattern and you get into a pattern. Now I'm not saying you have to have this is not any kind of psychological, warfare or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the needier you are, the worse off you will be. If you like somebody, the worst thing you can do is be needy. Okay. Don't be that person. Do the complete opposite. Now, I'm not saying be a grade A, butthole or anything like that, but take a stand. You have to let them know, hey, it's I got options. You have to let people know, hey, I got options too, okay? Because a lot of people, it's when somebody thinks that, and some of them don't do it on purpose, but when somebody says, oh, they real needy, huh? I'm going to take advantage of the situation. Some people actually think that kind of way, so you want to avoid that. And what that has to do with marketing is this: internet marketing is this. You don't want to be a needy marketer. Okay, it's like having the. Now, I'm not saying that you can't. When you make phone calls, you make sales calls, you make phone calls, you say, hey, it's just like we talked about phone calls. You say, hey, you filled out a form online. I would like to talk to you about the opportunity. And if they say no, I'm not interested, it's like, okay, I'm gonna move on. The worst thing you can do is say, why not? Like, why? And then you start talking more and more and more. It's like, all right, thanks for your time. Goodbye. Okay. Now, somebody just flat out says no, leave it alone. Let it go. Don't waste your time trying to convince somebody, because this is not somebody buying a toaster, okay? You either want to get into the internet marketing realm, or you don't. It's not a let me convince you to create a business for yourself. There's not a whole lot of space for that. It's like, okay, you can learn, I can help you, but I'm not gonna twist your arm. I'm not gonna break your arm to try to guide you into become a online marketer, a internet marketer. Like, no, don't do that. Don't get because I know when you first start off, you want to start making some income. I get it. Listen, I've been there. You want to make income, and then you just start thinking like it gets frustrating at first, and you're like, what can I do? And you'll sit there sometimes on that. I'll give you an example. I made a mistake once. Okay, I first started off. I posted a couple links on Facebook in the Facebook group thing, and then somebody said they was interested, and then I said okay, and then I jumped on it. I said, then I just started typing, and then I just started typing, and they was typing, and it's like we was having a whole conversation. But then I thought to myself, I said, stop it. I said, I am just talking to somebody like we're besties. They are not interested. They are just wasting my time. And why am I? They're wasting my time. They don't give. They don't give it. They're not interested in the program because if they were, they would say, "All right, send me a link." They talk about everything under the sun, and I'm like, no, I'm being needy at this point. At this point, I'm being very needy. So I pull back. I say, "Hey, listen, here's the link. If you're interested, I'll contact you tomorrow. If not, then boom, we'll just we're going about our business." And of course, they wasn't interested. So I spent 30 minutes, 40 minutes just, blah, 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 chatting away, and then they wasn't interested in anything. So it's like, that's a waste of time. Okay. So don't, and because you know why I was needy, because I really wanted to make a sale. It's like my first month and I was just hungry and I was like, I just want to make a sale. I was like, please, I just wanted to make a sale. So you want to avoid the neediness. You don't, it's like this podcast. Give an example. When I first started it, I was like, man, I'm gonna get, you know, a very unrealistic expectations. Okay, I thought to myself, I said, oh, man, after about 3 months, I'll probably have, about 15,000. Now this is the real conversation I have with myself. I said, after about the first 3 months, I'll probably have, 15,000 people listening. What? Who thinks like that? Okay, I'm like, no, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen at all. So I had to come back. I had to come back to reality. And at first, I was, at the first few podcasts, well, the first month, I wasn't needy, but I can definitely tell like I was doing an okay job, but I'm like, all right, I need to have more of an opinion. I was kind of trying to be, trying to straddle the fence, be kind of, well, you could, no, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, no, I'm trying to be a little too friendly. I'm trying to be a little too nice. I'm a nice guy, don't get me wrong, but trying a little too hard, pressing. And that's what happens when you get into the neediness, the desperation. When you get to that point, that's when it's like the kiss of death. You're not gonna get anywhere once you start being needy and you start being desperate. Then you have to come out of that and you have to say, you know what, we're gonna do this my way. I'm gonna get to where I want to go, but I'm gonna do things my way. I'm gonna do what I need to do. Of course, you want to, you know, you figure out topics that you want to talk about for your market, don't get me wrong, but you talk about the things that you talk about things that how you explain things in the way that you explain them. You don't try to be somebody else. You don't try to be this person or that person. You don't try to talk about. It's like yesterday I talked about baseball. I like baseball, love baseball. I can't talk about. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh man, I want listeners. I want people that I want listeners all across the world." So I'm gonna talk about cricket. I don't know anything about cricket. That would just be stupid for me to sit here and talk to you about, well, this cricket team, blah 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 blah. How would I sound, huh? So I talked about baseball. Baseball's in the United States. I am from the United States. It doesn't mean you can apply the baseball, the national, the regional, and the global. You can apply that to any kind of sport. So that's what I'm talking about. Like you can't try to appease every demographic. You can't try to appease everything and everybody. Like, don't be needy. Don't be that person. That is, the more you try to attract yourself to everybody, the less money you're gonna make, and that is a fact. Okay, like everybody's not gonna be. Everybody's not gonna be a cup of tea. Just like in dating, just like I talked about. Um, you meet somebody, you like them, and they don't like you. It's not a big deal. You can stand on your head all you want to. They're just gonna look at you and laugh and keep it moving, and then they're gonna tell the person that they like, "Hey, I had this person. They were standing on their head for me, and they liked me, but I didn't like them." So it's just, it's one of those things that I don't want you to fall into the category of thinking of desperation, being super needy when it comes to internet marketing. Okay, avoid that at all costs. And since we're at it, avoid that in relation. Avoid that when you find somebody you like too. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, whatever. Whoever you like, whatever you like. Don't be needy. I'm here to tell you that. That is it. It goes the complete opposite. Like if you just always, you know, I remember from the first date me and my wife went on. We had a night. We went to a hockey game. It was nice. It was a nice date, and I remember having a nice time. And I remember I reached my hand down, and I just knew she was gonna grab my hand. My wife, she looked down. She looked down at me, and she was like, and then she looked up, and I said, "Damn, I guess she don't want to hold my hand." I said, "Oh, alrighty then." So, I mean, it all worked out. I mean, at the time, I was like, and I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna, make a big deal about it, anything like that. I mean, I'll bring it up now, we're married and everything like that. But it's at the time I was just like, I wonder what's that what's that about? But I didn't think about it, I just kept it moving. But if I would have sat there and be like, why you don't want to hold my hand? Why you acting like that? We had a nice day. She'd have been like, you know what, pal? No thanks. I'm good. See you. Okay. So apply that to and that's with any relationship. Family members, I got a brother, my brother, he don't call me. And so I remember I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna stop sweating. I'm gonna stop sweating this clown. I'm not gonna call this clown anymore, And I stopped, and I got no problems. My brother don't want to call me. Why should I call him? I'm not desperate. I'm not desperate for attention. You're my brother. I love you to death, but F you at the same time. You know what I mean? So this is how it is when it comes to relationships. Friendships, relationships, any kind of business deals. It's like my wife. We had this situation where we we take care of my mother-in-law. Like my mother-in-law, she's confined to the bed, so we take care of her. So we have a person come into the house, and they help out. They stay with her throughout the day because my wife's at work and I'm at work. And so we had somebody come a couple weeks ago, and they came one day, but then they didn't come the next day. And then my wife called, and my wife texted them, and then they never did call back. And I asked my wife, I said, "Are you gonna call again?" And my wife said, "Absolutely not. We don't need them." I said, "You're right about that. If you want to get paid, you come to work. If you don't want to come to work, what are we gonna do? Beg you to come? I don't think so." So that's all that basically neediness is like the worst thing you can do. I'm not saying, of course, you want to show people, you show people that you care about them and everything like that, but don't always try to be available for everybody. Okay, don't don't be a highway. Don't let people just run you over all the time. So I hope this helps. I wrote an email about this, and if you want to read that email, you can always go to thelousydriver.com and type in your name and type in your email address, and you can get emails from me on the daily basis. Now we are really emailing on a daily basis, so two to three times a day we're emailing. Then on the weekends, 3, 4, 5 times. So we are pumping up the emails. But anyway, I hope this episode helps. Continue to get the word out, spread the word out for the podcast. We are getting more and more traction, and we are only going up, and I want you to come with us. Okay. So that being said, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. We will be back tomorrow with another all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. And also, if you haven't already, go to the Facebook page, Online Marketing Moves, like it, follow the page, and share the page with a friend or two. People, the only thing I ask, if you like the show, if you enjoy the show, please tell a friend, share with your friends. We got to get the word out. We are producing content, a lot of good content, and I feel, me personally, that it's that time that we just get out here and spread the word of Online Marketing Moves. So I want you to join us. I want you to be a part of the Online Marketing Moves team. So with that being said, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll be back tomorrow with another hard-hitting episode. But until then, my name is Tony Zano. Thanks for listening. And as always, everybody, peace.